Hey guys, welcome back. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported my EP, which came out last week on The Space Between Us. It's on SoundCloud for the snippets, and you can find the link to purchase it in the Bandcamp. Both of those will be down in the description. Just massive thanks to everyone who supported already, and if you're planning to support, thank you so much. Now let's get into the video. So in this week's video, I'm going to show you how you can make a 90s style progressive house organ synth. It's a sound which was super popular back in the day, like on this bad boy. It is Happy Larry's Big Beat Orchestra. The EP is Wicked and Bad. I don't actually know the names of the tracks on Discogs, they're just untitled, so you'll have to take my word for it that it's banger. I'll link that down in the description as well. I was also listening to a current track which uses this same kind of sound, which is by LP Rhythm. The track's called Rhythm Fiend, which is another banger. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so let's first load up Wavetable. Here I'm using the melody of the aforementioned Happy Larry's Big Beat Orchestra track to demo the patch. Next, let's load up the handy Juno 6 double saw wave Wavetable has in its vintage wave section. Let's set the position to 37% with the warp at 1.6 and detune up 5. Now for wave 2, let's make it a square wave with the effect mode set to FM and the amount up to 70%. To introduce some harmonics to the sound. Finally, let's detune the wave down 5 cents. I'll go back and increase my first wave by 7 semitones. Now I can't claim to know much about music theory, but the 5th and 7th notes, or semitones, up and down tend to work with a root note. In this case, shifting the wave 7 semitones up gives us the relationship we're after. Let's then bring wave 2's volume down 5 decibels and introduce the sub-oscillator with 75% tone. Finally, let's set the effect mode for wave 1 to classic, because I forgot to do that earlier. Now for the filter, let's bring filter 1 down to 306 Hz and up the resonance to 67%. Next, let's turn on filter 2 and make it a low pass 2. Let's set this to 3.47 kHz with a resonance of 43. Don't worry about the fact that we're not hearing too much of the sound. We're going to modulate the filters later. Now for the envelopes. Let's set the amp envelope as follows, with a snappy attack, high decay and sustain, and a short tail. Now for envelope 2, let's invert the shape of our attack and set it to 29 milliseconds with a long decay, 75% sustain, and a short release. Finally, envelope 3 with an attack of 45 and a decay of 3.85 seconds and a sustain of 53%. You'll also want to adjust the shape, like I've done here. Finally for Wavetable, modulation in unison. Let's apply 12% of envelope 2 and minus 11% of envelope 3 to oscillator 1's pulse width. Next, let's apply 19 and 28% of 2 and 3 respectively to oscillator 1's sync. And finally 12% of 2 and 92% of 3 to the filter's position. And voila, we're getting there. Now for the cherry on top, the unison. Let's make our synth mono with a glide of 24.7 milliseconds. Before applying the phase sync unison, dial down to 24% with 4 voices. Perfect. Now for some effects to give more of a vintage sound. First, hot tubes for some extra warmth. Next, a phaser set to a rate of 4 with the warmth up 50%. Finally, an auto filter to take away any extreme high ends and add a bit of movement with a slow LFO to modulate it. And there you go, a progressive house organ straight from the 90s to use in our current tracks. So that's the video. I hope you guys like the sound and like the songs that I suggested. They make really good use of it, so hopefully it'll give you some inspiration for your own tracks. As I was saying at the start of the video, if you want to support the channel or if you're just curious about the music that I make, then go check out the links down below. And as always, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.